All right, look. So here's the thing. So they dropped this thing on Stationeers new update, and what's happening is that they've got a bunch of different places where you can start from. I'm going to show you exactly what we've got here now. If you go and you decide to do the, make a new world, and it says here the moon, it says up here, this is beginner. But if you click on Mars, it's intermediate, Mimas, intermediate, Europa, challenging, Venus is extreme, and then you got Vulcan, which is you're just going to die. That's all there is to it. Okay, so you're a new player to the game, and you come in here and you think that this beginner, moon, beginner, yeah, a load of horse shit, all right? Because what happens is it has no atmosphere, you have sub-zero temperatures, and so no matter where you choose to build here, you're going to be dealing with frozen pipes, liquid in pipes that cause your pipes to burst. You've got no oxygen, you got wild temperature swings, super cold, medium warm, whatever. It's going to be an absolute nightmare to manage temperature fluctuations here. There are some pros, there are some cons. Don't get me wrong. But as a new player, this beginner, yeah, it's a load of horse shit. Your beginner is going to be Mars. Okay? You got way less now. There are some challenges, don't get me wrong. Okay? You're not going to have a real fun time using wind turbines for power on Mars. It's just the only time they're going to work is during a storm. There's just not enough air there. Okay? Your best bet is going to be solar, but because the solar is so low in the sky, you want to get to a high point. So people choose the canyon overlook, and they're like, oh, this is a great place to start. Oh, blah, blah, blah. But here's a pitfall with this thing. It has other higher elevations around it that will block the sun from reaching your solar near your drop pod. So when you drop in, you're going to have to travel quite a ways and carry all of your crates with you to build on some high ground. Okay? So that's not where you want to build. And you got Butcher's Flat. Here's the thing. Just even read this. A low-lying plain surrounded by rocky hills. Oh, wait, let's go back to Canyon Overlook. There's a huge amount of resources here. I'm not going to lie. This has probably by far the most amount of surface resources available. You look around, there's shit popping out of the ground everywhere. Okay. Bear with me. Butcher's Flat. Terrible. It's low and surrounded by rocky hills. Well, great. So again, you're in shadow more than you need to be. And keep in mind, on Mars, your friend is going to be solar power. Okay, now we go to the canyon on the west. Great. Steep cliffs loom overhead in the trench of a great canyon. In the trench. Yeah. Again, super restricted on your solar generation. Okay. Now we got Hellas Crags. High and rugged hills with sweeping views across the Martian surface. Sounds promising, doesn't it? Let's look at Donut Flats. The region is marked by large canyons, blah, 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 dust-blown plains that stretch in all directions. So yes, so you'd think this is where you want to go. There's no resources. I'm serious. You start this save and you will see you've got to travel like miles in any direction to find a single resource on the surface to mine. It's terrible. There's virtually nothing here. So Hellas Crags is where it's at. All right. Now we can go through all these ones and do this kind of stuff. I'll just show you real quick here. Hellas Crags. You watch this. Next, we're going to go normal start. Next, we're just going to do a standard start game. We're just going to drop in here and just have a quick look. Okay. And they made some changes. So don't delete, look, I made a mistake on my other start where I started playing this silly game because I saw this massive update and I was pretty excited about it. Pretty stoked. So, I made a mistake of, how you can just use your grinder and you can grind your entire landing pod and all your crates drop to the ground. Makes it for super fast, right? Super fast. Well, here's the problem. It doesn't matter that it's super fast because don't forget you got stuff inside here, your containers of bars and stuff. It doesn't matter if you delete this one. Maybe it does. I don't really know. But anyways, here's the thing. When you get up to this thing here, let's do this here real quick. Click, 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 click. We got our tablet. Let's throw that in our hand. Let's get the duct tape out of here. Tracker. Tracker. There's the lander. Okay? Right there, this thing. This is the thing you don't want to delete, because if you, what they've added in the game is this. Okay? You got the lander. So you can actually, if you get lost, you can pull out your tracking thing and you can find this lander. So this is where you want to build. Now here's the thing. Look at this. There's your sun coming up over there. And if you look at my angle of degrees, it comes up at 90 degrees. It comes up right there. Okay? So if you want, you can build anywhere up here. Anywhere. Doesn't matter. Anywhere. That's going to give you some, and there's your supplies. So if we turn our heading, if you look down on the lower right hand side, if we look at 90 degrees, there we have it. That sun's going to come up and it's going to go across the sky, and then poof, it's going to kick down over here somewhere. All right. Where does it kick down? I believe it kicks down at 180. I'm not sure. No, it doesn't kick down at 180. It kicks down at 270. Something like that. Anyways, but here's what we've got for resources. Quite a huge amount of resources floating up on the surface in every direction you look. Every direction. So, you know, I wouldn't really start. If I was a brand new player to this game, I wouldn't start anywhere else. I'd start right here. You know, there's a ton of resources. Gold right there. There's lead. My goodness. Coal right where you drop in. There's coal here. Oxide. There's to get your base started up. There's more coal. There's iron right there. There's a bunch more iron right there. There's more oxide. It's everywhere. Okay. You don't have to really look for this stuff. But here's the thing. If you build on the low side, pretty much right beside your lander, okay? So you come right here on this little peak and you just build right here, okay? Right here, right beside this thing. Build here. Put your solar panel up. You're going to get a little bit of gain from it. Put your little 3x3, your little cheapy starter shack up here, okay? Build here. You are on the top of where there's mountaintops over there. There's mountaintops over there. So you are looking at getting the maximum amount of solar radiation possible here. So once you have your starter base built, you build it here, right? And then what you do is you go up the hill to build your secondary, your main base. Once you've got your starter base built, you just head up the hill to some higher ground. Look at this, man. I don't know about you, but when I start building my base, I build foundations. Wherever the sun comes up, I build 2 foundations out, 1 foundation up, 2 foundations over, 1 foundation up, 2 foundations over, 1 foundation up. And then on those 2 foundations on the low side, put solar panels every second foundation. Every second foundation gets a solar panel. Okay? And I space them kind of in the middle. It doesn't really matter. I need to run data cables up the front, power cables up the back, whatever. And then off the one side, I have my power cable run. Off the other side, I have my data cable run. And up near the front is where I put my my power splitter. I'll show you what I've done here. But anyways, this is by far the easiest start. Okay, let's get out of here. We're gonna go to exit to leave session. Just exit. We'll do this real quick. I'll just show you this. Load world, load latest. Oh, that's this one that I just started. Whoops. Let's try that again. Leave session, exit. I don't know what the heck I was thinking there. You know, I blame the whiskey. Load world, Mars 2. There we go. Load latest. There we go. Okay. Trying to make this a quick video. Good Lord. Are you making mistakes like that? It's my... I think my suit is closed. Okay, so... we don't get to see much right now. My lander was over here. I deleted it, but I'm on that same spot, all right? Just have to just trust and believe I'm on the same spot. Obviously, I've drilled for some minerals and stuff. But anyways, so this is what I'm talking about when you're going to build that tiered, that stepped system. So we're sitting here, we're looking south, all right? 180 is south. 90, that's where the sun's coming up. So there's my solar panels, and they're all on a script right now tracking the sun for when the sun comes up, all right? And you can see I came over 2, up 1, over 2, and then I'll end up just... come on now. I'll end up just going probably up 1 more for the time being. But you want to protect your solar panels from getting damaged. Then you put it inside of a room with the glass partitions on it there, and you see what I've done here. So there's my dual solar panel. I've got the power cables running all along the back, and this just feeds my circuitry and this kind of stuff to control things. I'll show you that on the bottom. But that power cable just drops out the side, and as it drops out the side, my main power cable runs down this side up to the base. Okay. So down here, that main power cable just connects to that one. Just connects. It just follows the base all down the side. And each of these solar panels, the power comes out the back and goes on the front. Whereas the data comes out the other side and goes all the way over to the far side of this base. And then it just makes its way up over to here. Okay. So then what I've got is I put down the APC, the area power controller originally, dropped down a large battery in it. There's my daylight sensor. And now people are going to tell you, you've got to worry about what direction that your solar panel and your daylight sensor and all that kind of stuff is facing. And I'm like, screw that, man. You need a little bit of a poetic, you need some freedoms in your life, So I think you should be able to put your panels wherever the hell you want. This orientation works out for me. So basically, my data port is facing due south. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, so there's my circuit. 2 memories, 2 logic readers, 2 math units, and 2 batch writers. That's it. That's what controls my solar panel setup. So right now you can see my memory. This right now, I call this one H. I just put H for horizontal, V for vertical. Okay. So H memory, V memory, H reader, V reader, H math, V math, and then of course H writer, V writer. Okay. So what's happening here is that the memory state, okay, you can see here, this one's at 180, this one's at 90. And so when you first set up your solar panels, you see your solar panels are pointing the wrong damn direction. I mean, you can do some rudimentary math and figure out roughly what direction they should be pointed in. And you just use your screwdriver and just start adjusting things and tweaking things until it's balls on perfect, okay? So this thing here, the reader is just taken in from the daylight sensor, okay? It's reading the daylight sensor and it's reading the horizontal. That's my H reader. So I've got the horizontal stored in here and I've got the vertical stored in here. All right, then I go to my math unit. My math unit says, take what's coming from the horizontal, okay? Add what I've got in the reader. So take the memory and add what I've got in the reader. If you find that your panels are like ticking and they're going in the wrong damn direction, like 180 degrees in the wrong direction, then you have to change this add into a subtract. Okay. Currently both mine are set to add. But depending on the orientation that you've chosen for your solar panels, you may need to have that set as a subtract. But you can tell, because as the sun starts going across the sky this way, your solar panels are following it, but they're following it facing 180 degrees the wrong direction, and they're turning in exactly the opposite direction. If they're turning in the exact opposite direction, then you definitely need to change what your math function is. And it's only going to be add or subtract. It won't be anything else. Okay. So then my batch writer is real simple. We're taking what's coming from the math. We're taking that in. All right. And we're going out to the horizontal. Okay. And we're going to the solar panel dual on the horizontal. And this one, we're going out to the vertical of the solar panel. Okay, that's all that's happening. And these things are all just tied in, and they're all connected in with this data cable that comes up, and it runs along the front over here, goes all the way over to the side, runs down the outside of this base, this little room here. And here's the thing too. If you have your tablet out, you see how it says here, room 4? As soon as it says you're in a room, then these solar panels won't take damage from storms. Okay? So I can just sit here, close that up. Perfect. Those solar panels are free from damage. And even as the sun is just coming up now, if we go to these solar panels and look and say, hey, what's our power output? Look at that. Efficiency, 85% in climbing. What about this one? 71. It's in a bit of shade right now. 68. Yeah. So oh, look at the health is 92%, so it has taken some damage. Not sure how or why. Huh. Ah, well. I'll have to figure that out. It's new in the game. I thought this little building would protect them. Look, man. Okay, you got me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Anyways, but it puts out enough power to easily eclipse my power requirements. So my station battery here is fully charged, and this station battery just runs all the way forward and powers my little miniature base. Yeah, I got a couple of damaged solar panels up there, and my principal starting solar panel was right here. It's also fried as well. It's dead. What can I say? Mistakes were made. So, but yeah. What else is there to be said? Oh, cheap auction tank auction bottle refill just got shown to me by a fellow in the what do you call it, in their Discord. What the hell was his name again? Anyways, throw yourself some oxy filters in the back of this thing, drop it down to a portables connector in your scrubber. You got a tank refiller here. Make sure you have a little bit of a buffer here, okay? And then you have your tank platform here. You can screw down a spare tank onto this. Make sure you put a passive drain in here, passive liquid drain, because some stuff does collect in these pipes. So when you crank this thing on, it'll take a long ass time to fill large connector, but eventually it does. And then you end up with something like this here. Hold on, we'll just show you here. There's my tank right there. I just made that one, just filled it up. This is all just temporary, by the way. This whole... Good Lord, come on now. So, I held some water in my hands when it was the sun was out, and it melted instantly, turned to a puddle. I know there's a vacuum I can get later. I'm not really worried about it. But, yeah, so there's our tank. And it was quite cold when I brought it in, so I brought it in at like 5.5 MPa, because I wasn't sure how much that it would climb once it reached temperature. So it's already climbed like half of an MPa. I know it can go up to about 8 MPa, not really worried about it. But yeah. Anyway, so this is why I'm saying this is the easiest place to start in Stationeers by far. Yeah. So not much else needs to be said, I guess. we'll just punch this one out. You guys have a fantastic day. I hope you're really enjoying the shit out of this game. It's a pretty cool game. So, that being said, cheers.